Hello, Bob Hughes here with JD Squared. In this video, I'm going to show you how to import a DXF file as in an earlier video, but this time we're going to save it as a part, and then we're going to do things like rotate that part, array that part, and then we're going to bring in another part, create in a nest, and then we're going to output the G code for that. So let's get started. First thing off, I've decided that I'm going to cut this out of 16 gauge steel. So let's go ahead and load our tool set as described also in another video. We're going to go to File, Open Tool Set. This time I'm going to use Fine Cut Consumables and for mild steel. So I select that, inch series, and I'm saying okay. We already know that we don't need that. And there's my tool set right there. Now, let's go ahead, just as in the earlier video, we are going to import a drawing this time, same exact one, because if you've seen the other video, you're familiar with it. There it is. Let's go ahead and create our operations. Remember, we're going to create the operations like scribing and internal cuts and all before we cut the outside. So the first operation we're going to do is the scribing. I have a layer, open contour. That's the one we're going to be using, and we're going to use the scribe tool. So let's go to new operation down here. Select no offset because it's a scribe. Layer is going to be open contour. The tool will be the scriber. We do not want an overcut as described also earlier. We do not need a rule set, and we don't want to lead in, and we're going to say okay. Now you see the little green arrows right here. That's indicated that for this operation, we are cutting or scribing in this case in that direction. All right, let's go ahead and do the actual cutting part now. Once again, new jet operation. This time we're going to pick an outside offset, which is the most common, and we're going to pick layer 0. See it all go white? It was selected. And our tool, we're going to select the tool for 16 gauge, which is 0.0598. Now, we do want an overcut. And if you recall, an overcut is once the plasma has finished cutting, it will continue along the path. However, it will turn off the torch. This is recommended by the plasma manufacturer. We are going to do that, and we're going to set that value at 0.15. Since we're cutting, we do want path rules, and we're going to select rule set. Once again, explained in an earlier video, and we do want to lead in as well. We'll go perpendicular, say okay. And there's our part right there. Once again, it's warning us because this particular part has a very small hole over here, but our rules will take care of it. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's go ahead, use the mouse wheel and zoom out a little bit, and there's our part. We could go ahead up here. We could generate G code like we did before and say you want to place it. Sure, I do. It just did it. But now on this particular part, let's go ahead, or file, let's go ahead and save it as a part because right now it's an imported drawing. We're going to go to File, Save Part, and it just did it. And it saved it under the name that we brought in the DXF. If you chose to save a different name, you could save parts as, and right here's where it saved it. You know, we could call this thing anything we want, you know, newbie or something like that, who knows, and say save it. Now it's saved as newbie. But I think we better save the part as what we were talking about right there. All right, so anyway, there's our part. Now, what we want to do is let's right click on the background and fit the material, and let's talk about duplicating this part, rotating the part, etc. What we need to go to mode nesting, click on that. Now we're in nesting mode. See how it went white because it selected it. I could hold down in fact, let's zoom in so you can see it hopefully a little bit better. I could zoom in now. I'm sorry, I could left click on the part and I can now drag it around, you know, so let's drag it around away from the edges of the metal. We've got it there. I can also right click and bring up other options, copy, duplicate, multiple, duplicate, array, etc. Duplicate means we are going to basically create a duplicate part, move it where we want, and say okay. And that's that. And it will work for a single, a single part, Now, let's go ahead and up here, we are going to hit the undo button, or you can Control Z to get rid of that part. Now let's right click on it, and this time we'll say multiple duplicate, And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to just keep on putting duplicates until you're finished. Once again, Control Z or the undo button, so I get back to one part. Now this time I am going to right click, zoom to fit material so I can show it all to you, and we're going to create an array. So array, you could tell it how far apart the array area, how many parts, etc. Or you could just tell it, fit to material. So you could play with these later. Your part spacing, we have it 200,000. You could set that whatever number you want. Well, let's just go ahead and say fit to material. And let me see, what did I do? Oh, I got to say okay. Anyway, there you go. It figured out it could fit all those parts in it right there. Now, if I wanted to move them all, I press my left button, I drag my window, and now I can kind of move them around, Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these parts right here. We'll get rid of all of them, actually. We're going to right-click right here, and we are going to just create a simple array. One row, 3 parts. Okay, there they are. Now, we think we can move those 3 parts a little bit closer together. So we're going to select on the second one right here, and if you look down here on the right side, you'll see a little label with an A on it, 0 degrees. That's the rotation of the part. You'll see X and Y also down here. Remember, the CNCs are X, Y, Z. Well, A stands for rotation, and SheetCam uses that same nomenclature for this. Let's go ahead and change that number to 30. And look, our part has rotated right there. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Once again, it's selected, so I could hold down a button and I can move this part where I want to go. And the way I'm selecting them is I'm just left clicking on the part and then holding the button down. And there you go. There we've rotated our parts. And if you notice, if up here, if we clicked this one, that's that one, the second one, and the third one. All right. So now what we're going to do is right click, fit to material. Let's go ahead and add a different part, one that we had imported before and saved as a part. And we're going to go to File, Open Part, and that's going to be the pumpkin. So there's the pumpkin right there. Now, obviously, we can't cut that. Everything's overlapping. But see how it's white? It just means it's selected. Hold down your left button, drag it up, and now we're right there. And if you notice over here, we now have the pumpkin is there. Let's right-click, fit to material. Now we just go ahead and create our G-code, and we're done. We're ready to go out there and cut all of this out right here. So I hope that it helps you out a little bit with positioning parts and saving them as parts. Please look at our other videos, and you know what? Happy cutting, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.